Hi friends, I have another craft for you today. Today we are going to make our very own milk jug. The old-fashioned milk jugs. Look, isn't that cute? So this is what it looks like without my hoot owl on there. And it's so cute, you could decorate in all kinds of ways with this. This would be really cute for like a shower, if you're doing like a baby shower or a party of some sort. But it's just an easy thing you can do with a lot of stuff that you already have at home. And it's just fun. So let's just craft and have a good time. We are using a soda can. That's what this is made out of. Did you guess? It looks just like a milk jug though. So it's not an advertisement for Diet Dr. Pepper. But this is a great can to do this craft in. And I love Diet Dr. Pepper. So anyway, you get yourself a can, empty it, and take a can opener and take the top off. And it's a really smooth cut. Works great. I tried to do it on my electric can opener and it did not work, but my hand one worked great. And it's really smooth so you can't hurt yourself. Some of them doesn't work. So I don't know why. I've tried different brands and some of them do, some of them don't. But even the exact same brand, some of the cans might be a little finicky, but I would say the majority, I've only had one or two not work, and I've cut a ton of these for my craft class. So it's easy. Give that a shot. And then you need to take the tabs off. So we need two, one on each side. So you'll have to drink two of something. I've got some pliers. And I am just going to bend the, actually I'm gonna hold it this way, I think. I'm gonna bend the tab up so it looks like handles. So it's pretty easy to just grab a hold if you got a pair of two of these and just bend it up, just like this. Alrighty. Gotta flip this way. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. That's one. Here's two. I actually thought that might be easier to do this with these little pointy. There we go. Hold it firm in one hand and bend the other. So you want to bend it the way of the shiny metal. So, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way on your lid, right? The one that's laying flat, you want to bend it up so that you can see the shiny part. Make them look virtually the same. Try this one again a little bit, I think. There we go. That's the trick. And now we're ready to put them on. Couple of options. This first one I did, I used screws. See the screws? So I poked a little pinhole using a nail, and I screwed it on there. And I measured where I wanted it, so I want the bend of my handle right at the bend of the milk jug. So anyway, I tried that with the nail all different ways. I wanted to make it more secure than just hot glue, just in case we had too much heat or whatever. It didn't, it was more frustrating. It looks great, I think. It's holding well. It's a nail, it's a screw and hot glue. So, my second one that I did, I just did hot glue and it works just fine. So that's what I'm doing. So I am eyeballing so that they're on both sides, but so they're equal on both sides. But what I did with this first one is I positioned them where I wanted, and I put a Sharpie, a mark where I wanted the screw. And then I ended up putting glue and the screw in. But again, hot glue will work just fine. Now we need to paint it. I've done this a couple of ways. One, I took this can and I spray painted it with a color similar to this, and you need 2 coats. So I have a texture, I don't know if you can see that or not. I did that texture painting technique is what I'm trying to come up with. I did that, and so you always are going to need two coats to cover this up. So this one's spray painted first, and then I used the textured paint on top. The second one that we're going to be crafted with, I just used textured paint. So here's my little jar of extra paint, and it is chalk paint and baking soda. So I have 1 part to 1 part. You can eyeball that and get it as thick as you want, or you can measure it out, a tablespoon to tablespoon, whatever works for you. But I will show you. It thickens up the paint, which helps with the coverage. And here's a neat thing. When I was doing this is the same paint. I had extra, I poured it in this cute little glass and stuck it in the refrigerator, put some foil over top. So easy to save your paint that way. If you're creating a mixture. This, I actually used white chalk paint because it was the only color chalk paint I had. I wanted an off-white to go with my owl. So I added brown paint to it until I got the color that I wanted. But see how well that covers? And you would think that that would be good enough, but let me show you. The way we do, this is the mixture, it's super thick, great paint, and then a little scrap piece of sponge. I got it damp just to make sure it's still malleable because I keep using the same sponge. And so I just got it damp so I could, it's not wet, but just so it will squish. And then you move your sponge over top like this to make your texture. But see how you can see my label through that? You always need 2 coats. So you're painting it real quick, and then you're going to dry it. Dry your first coat. So we are going to use my little heat gun, but a hair dryer works, or you can just let it dry on its own. It dries really fast. I'm just showing you how this works because I've got one already ready for us. And then put my second coat on. This paint saves so well in your refrigerator. It's awesome. And if you even don't want to rinse out your brushes, you could be super lazy. Put them in like a Ziploc bag and put them in your refrigerator, just like if you're painting your house, right? And you're painting your room and you're not finished with the whole room yet. If you've got extra refrigerator space, you just plop it in there. All right, get my sponge back. I love this technique. You can use sand in with your paint, and you don't have to use chalk paint. I just really like chalk paint, but you can use acrylic or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can add sand to your paint. You can add baking soda to your paint, anything gritty to help it get this texture. And the sponge is helping you get this texture also. But you need some oomph to your paint. You need to add some thickening to your paint. It won't work as well with just plain old paint. Just like this. So it covers up, I didn't do that, did I? It covers up your handle great. I forgot to show you that one, but see? I painted over it and then let it dry, add my second coat, texturize it. You can dry it with a hair dryer or a heat gun, or wait for it to dry, and ta-da, this is what you get. So this is another one that I did, and that one is all just glue. And my handles are super sturdy, they're not going anywhere. And I've got a great texture on my paint, on my can. And now it's time to put my picture on there. So you can put whatever you want on there. I just thought this was really cute. So it's a napkin, came like this. I cut out my owl, and this napkin has it on all 4 sides, so that's really cool. I cut out my decoration, so this is gonna be great. And then this is an easy way to Mod Podge this. You take your Mod Podge. If you do not have Mod Podge and you don't want to go buy it, that's fine. Any glue that will dry clear can be used, but you will need to water it down a little bit. If it's super thick, it needs to be a little thinner so that it spreads well and you don't rip your tissue paper. So I like this little bottle. Actually, I refill it all the time, but it's really handy because I can apply it straight to my sponge. It's $1 at the Dollar Tree, but it doesn't make near a mess. So I refill it all the time. I like it from a bigger jar. So then I'm just putting the Mod Podge on my area, and I need to make sure that I have my owl facing the right way. And this was a 2-ply napkin, so I had to separate it. This is only the picture ply of the napkin. And then I just set it where I want to. And smooth it down. Go from the inside out so you don't get any wrinkles. Another great trick is to grab some cellophane, a little piece of cellophane. And this is not the paint part, but say this was my cellophane. Rub it like this so that it pushes your wrinkles out without breaking your napkin. But this is a textured piece, so it just slides on super easy. And I can see the texture through my owl, through my napkin that I've placed on there. And then you are going to put a top coat on. And you're gonna be super easy so you don't rip your napkin. And you want to be light-handed. You do not want a ton of, you don't want to sop your piece, right? You don't want to use a whole lot of the Mod Podge. Just a light coat before and after is great. It looks a little milky when you put it on. When it dries clear. I'm making sure my napkin's pressed all the way down before it dries. And that's it. So to finish off your piece, you want to put a coat of Mod Podge all the way around. It'll make the, is this gloss? This is matte finish, so it's not glossy anyway. But it'll make your finish smooth all the way around. And consistent, which is great. It seals your whole project, so the paint won't chip off if you're storing it, or it just gets bumped or whatever. This paint would nick, right, and chip, but not with the Mod Podge on it. It protects it. If it gets splashed with water or something, because you could, since this is a can and it held liquid in the first place, you absolutely could put flowers in here. You could put party favors in here. to decorate. You could put real flowers or artificial flowers, but the nice thing about this is it's made to hold liquid anyway, so putting in some water and putting some real flowers would look great. It looks like it's coming out of your milk crate. I mean your milk jug. Make sure everything's nice and covered. And that's it. Let it dry. It's gonna look just like this. It has a nice slick finish to it, so it's nice and protected. I'm gonna let this dry upside down so that it doesn't get glue on any of my surfaces. And that's it. Super easy. If you have any kind of a soda can at home, a pop top can, this should work for you. And it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.